Alrighty. Hopefully this is working. Alright, how's everybody doing out there? Just hanging out on a Saturday. Not really doing much, which is odd. It's been a nice morning with the family. And now I'm just hanging out. I got some new tobacco. A new brewery opened up really close to me, and we're going to do a beer review. We're going to do first impressions, and we're just going to hang out here with me. Hopefully you join in the chat. We can have a conversation. If not, I'm just going to be hanging out here on the porch. I'm not in the garage. It's kind of cloudy, overcast, but what are you going to do? Yeah, man. So first off, let me get into this. New brewery right near me called Mixed Breed Brewing. If you can see that. There's 4 or 5 of these guys. My good friend is pretty good friends with about half of these guys. There's 4 or 5 of them. They were in the Marines. Most of them were in the Marines. Therefore, that's how they came up with the name Mixed Breed. It's like a thing in the Marines, I guess. They are all just home brewing buddies, you know. And they love the hobby, and they got, you know, more equipment. They started, like, you know, brewing more together, and they started buying this equipment. Then COVID hit, and they're all sitting home. They all have they still have like other jobs and stuff, but they went and bought all this equipment, and they said, "Are we going to do this brewery thing?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's get it." They got a spot like at a local retail shopping mall type of deal. That it's dirt cheap. They got the rent for nothing, basically. You know what I mean? Because retail is kind of like, you know, a little wishy-washy with the COVID restrictions and everybody not going out and all that. But anyway, they got a great space. They got all this brand new equipment, and they just started brewing beer. And I've had samples at my buddy's house before. One of the brewers came over and just said, "Hey, yeah, we're starting this up," and but it was pretty good. And now they're official. We went over there to their grand opening today with the kids and just hung out and tried some of their beers. Fantastic. And this one right here is a double IPA. It's called Endo. It's a 7.5% ABV, alcohol by volume, and it was canned on 4/7. So that's good for you want to drink IPAs fresh because of the hop attributes are there. As time goes on, like IPAs don't age that well because they lose some of that vibrant characteristics of the hops and such. So anyway, so we're gonna this is a New England style IPA. I know I've mentioned that before, but here we are. Let's start pouring that. I had a beer before, that's why there's some schmutz in the glass, but there we are. That's my crokinole tournament, by the way. U.S. Open, baby. Today would have been the day of the 3rd U.S. Open. We had one 2 years ago. Last year was COVID. This year we're still not out of the woods, but great time. Great time. We had the world champions come down from Canada and play in the tournament. They won it, but they almost got beat by one of my club members, so anyway, those guys are a bunch great guys coming down from Canada. Yeah, so let's dive into this right here. So that New England style double IPA, it's got tropical notes, fruity, citrusy, but like it's kind of like a dankness to it. Like it doesn't smell like weed, but like, you know, like a nice like pungent citrus that's not like acidic, but the other good attributes to oranges and grapefruits and stuff like that. Super smooth. Got stuff in my beard. Whoops. Super smooth beer, man. The whole style, but these guys do it right. This is like a popular style around here, and like a lot of people try to do it. And there's some hits and there's some misses. This is definitely a hit. The beer has a nice backbone. Usually, like there's people do it, and there's not enough, like, along with hops, you also need a good grain bill. And double IPAs usually have a lot of grain in it, but there's certain types of grain that give it like good texture. There's not, a lot of the times, like, people like don't what do you call it? They don't consider that, you know. But I like a good textured grain bill with, you know, nice flavorful hops. I like bitterness. I don't like too much bitterness, and this style just screams that. Oh, but yeah, man. First impressions of this, definitely, definitely tasty, man. And these guys they're about, I don't know, 5 miles away, and they're right across from my where I work, the warehouse yard that I work in. So I'm gonna be stopping by here for sure. But I met all those guys there today. Great bunch of people. They all have second jobs. They're all like taking turns. There's like 5 of them. They're all like taking turns, like running the brewing equipment, excuse me, and such. That was my dream 4, 5, 10 years ago when I started brewing at home. Right? Everyone's got that. Oh, I love, because you love it so much, you want to do it for a living. And these guys, they had a game plan. You know, they got together. They had partners that like worked together, which I would think would be a scary thing, to have partners and not, you know, guys not pulling their weight or whatever. But, and there's 5 different ownerships, or 4 or 5 different ownerships. That's gonna be kind of scary. But these guys seem to be very close knit, and they got each other's backs. And I wish them all the luck in the world, man. This is a great beer. Right? We had other samples too. They had a cream ale, they had a stout, they had some more IPAs. All good stuff. They know what they're doing. Not to get into brewing that much, but like water. That's the new. All the breweries are, like, you know, reconfiguring their water, what chemicals are in the water and such, because that plays a lot to accentuating certain flavors from grain and hops and such, and yeast. But that's a big thing. So tobacco. So I did another order from smokingpipes.com. This isn't super exciting or anything. I'm just going to show you what I got. There's one in here that I already have, and I already let you guys know before that I was going to restock up, and that's GLP's Key Largo. And it had a, let's see, 3/4/21. Very young date on this. But Key Largo is a very nice smoke. When I opened it up, my last 10, I was indifferent about it. I liked it. The nicotine was very, it hit me pretty hard, and I didn't get much cigar leaf at first, but then I let it go in the jar for a couple months, and then I slowly got back into it, and now, like, I really get into it. It's one of my favorites. Lots of great notes of, you know, there's like, the Latakia is smooth, and with the cigar leaves, I do taste the cigar leaf now with Virginias, so it's got a nice balance, but it's got nice cocoa notes to it, coffee. It's just a great smoke. So I mean, Latakia fans, this is it. This is a good one right here, Key Largo. So we'll do that. Let's see what else I got here. Another GLP's is Piccadilly. This one I was just browsing through and just, you know, going through descriptions. I'm like, what do I, because there's so many blends out there, you know, like I don't know what to pick. And so I'm like, that one looks good. And that description on this one is Piccadilly is a provocative lighter style mixture, ideal for the morning first bowl. Several shades of Virginia tobaccos are greatly spiced with Cyprian Latakia, then polished with a hint of fine Louisiana Perique. The alluring flavor is revealed in layers throughout the smoke. So yeah, so Virginia, Latakia, Perique, and GLPs. How can you go wrong with those guys, right? This one has October 28th, 2020 date on it. So I will be probably doing a first impressions on that. For sure, Piccadilly GLPs. Alrighty, next. I've seen people have this, and I'm just browsing through and just checking it out, and I'm like, what the heck, you know? I'm not really an aromatic fan, but like, picked up this. This is Gotwith's Hogworth, Bob's Chocolate Flake, Virginia, Latakia, and Burley tobaccos with hints of cocoa and vanilla. Sounds delicious. Hopefully it comes through, but I know all these have been around. You guys know what I'm talking about, but whatever. That's that. And now the tobacco that I am going to have my first impressions right now is Warhorse Green. So yeah, so I've been watching Chris Morley's channel, aka the Bingham Briar. I suggest you go over and check him out. For some reason, I really, well, not for some reason, he's just a really nice guy to watch. He knows his smokes, and I've been finding out that his tastes are kind of like mine. So he was saying this one was pretty good, so I'm going to give it a shot. Again, not an aromatic fan, but this is Dark Fried Kentucky, air-cured red Virginia with a topping on it. So I guess I'll crack the tin here, and we'll see what's going on. All right, open it up because I tacked the roll. So right off the bat, like even like when I took it out of the package, I didn't even pop it yet. I smelled is, I know this isn't going to sound great, but like I smell like, you know, when your tackle box for fishing and you have those rubber worms in them, like I kind of got a like, you know, a hint of that right off the bat. And I'm like, oh man, I bet you that's going to smell like that. But once you open it up, it smells like that. It's just a unique flavor, I guess. Nutty, but like it's a soft, non-offensive, like licorice, anise type of smell. It's a plug. You guys can see that right there. But look, I already broke some off. You don't need to like shave it off or anything. It's like a crumble cake, but it's called a plug. It's tight. It's a tight pack, but it comes off easy. So I don't have to use a knife or anything on it. But yeah, so smells interesting. Yeah, smells interesting. Not bad, interesting. There's a bad interesting. This is not a bad interesting. Smoking out of my Peterson 05 Cara, sandblasted. Got this, well, I've been smoking for a little bit over a year, last year. It's a decent pipe. I don't smoke it that often, but today I'll smoke it. I smoked it last night playing 42, which is a dominoes game that's popular in Texas. And I won $70 off me and my partner won $70 each off our other two players that we play against every week. You know, you don't like taking money off your friends, but that one, it's actually that guy's birthday too. So, can anybody, if anybody is watching, can anyone tell me if they can hear me okay? Because my mic, I'm trying a new mic out. Hopefully it's working. So, if someone could just comment, just let me know if you can hear it or not. That'd be great. Warhorse Green, here we go. Excuse me. That's an interesting nail tamper. Gotta love it. Boy, that smell does not come through in the taste of the tobacco. Tony 513, what's up, pal? Thank you very much for letting me know that the audio works. I don't know. I'm not good at technical stuff, so I'm trying this new mic here. I usually have like a Yeti mic or whatever, but awesome, Tony. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a great weekend, man. You doing any barbecuing or anything today? You always seem to have something going on. So, Warhorse Green. Yeah, it's a mild smoke. It doesn't super smooth. Of course, I'll have to smoke a few bowls to get a really good grip on it, but it's pretty it's pretty middle of the road. It's definitely that anise flavor does not transfer into the tobacco at all. Tony, the beer is from a brand new brewery called Mixed Breed Brewing. They opened up today, 5 miles from me. Great bunch of guys that opened it up. This beer is called Endo. It's a double IPA. It's a New England style IPA, so that's why it looks a little cloudy. But I don't know. You're out in near Cleveland area, right? So you should see the New England style beer out there. But it's a lot of flavor, a lot of grain, a lot of malt, a lot of hops. Not a lot of bitterness, but a lot of attributes of the hops in there, with a nice stiff grain bill. And it's a very smooth, very dangerous beer to drink all day. Excuse me, because it could definitely like catch up on you for sure. But get your hands. I mean, a Mixed Breed. They're not going to be out there anytime soon, I don't think. But if you go to a store and if you're into craft beer, you say, "Hey, give me a good New England style double IPA." They're out there, and the guy who's selling the beer will know what you want. Give it a shot, man. I don't know if you like IPAs or not, or I like it all. So, but yeah, super smooth, tropical in a good way. Not like fruity, fruity nonsense going on there, like a fruit bowl or something, but good attributes from the hops. Yeah, it's like 50 degrees out here, something like that. It's not bad, dude. It's good enough to be out here, not in the garage. That's for darn sure. What is it? 48 degrees. Geez, doesn't feel like it. Maybe because I had a few beers at the brewery. That was always a dream of mine, though, to go out on my own and just have a nice brewery. It takes a lot of money. A lot of money, a lot of time. Like I think I told you before, those guys here, the 5 Marines that started this, they still have second jobs, dude. Takes a lot. And there's so many breweries out there now that there's a big bubble that could burst at any time. That's why you got to focus on your product. You just can't throw up a brewery now, like, yep, we got all this IPA and all this great stuff. Well, now you got to stick out. So that's extra daunting. Tony, are you currently smoking a bowl? What are you smoking? Or anybody else out there? Love to hear it. For you who's just joined in, I'm smoking some Warhorse Green for the first time. That popped up on smoking, smoking pipes. What is it? Yeah, smokingpipes.com. It was always out, and I happened to check it one day at work, and it was like in. I'm like, oh, I'll get it. Check it out. Also, so everyone else catching up, coming in, I also got these good guys right here. These top two I haven't tried yet. Bottom one, restocking. Key Largo, get it. Highly suggest it. Peterson 3P in the basket pipe. Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna get some basket pipes for just like, buy once, go into a brick and mortar to support a brick and mortar, buy some tobacco, buy a couple of basket pipes, and just keep piling them up here for people that come over that don't smoke pipes. I can be like, oh, here's a basket pipe, give it a shot. I bought a couple corn cobs, and I don't know, man. Like, everyone likes corn cobs, and I have a Missouri Meerschaum Marcus, and I like it because I broke it in. But the first couple bowls out of a corn cob, an unfinished one, excuse me, I don't really like the taste of it, personally. But once you break it in, smooth, very good pipe. So I think a basket pipe would be better with some briar or something, just to give a more true impression on people. But smoking a pipe always came pretty natural to me. Smoking cigars too. Like I was 16, I remember, my dad and my uncle would always have a cigar. My dad was into cigars for a while. He had a couple of humidors full. He did business with people in Canada, so he got some Cubans, and I always got how to smoke it. I always knew the draw. I knew maybe from watching my dad, but some people, like, I'll smoke a pipe, one of my pipes or whatever. I have a tough time smoking it. But I always wondered. I mean, I get it. There's a technique to it. Excuse me. But some people have a really tough time smoking a pipe, man. That chocolate flake is pretty good. Yeah, I hope so, man. I heard it's not too chocolatey, which is good. Like, I don't want anything like too out of the ordinary. Well, I heard I just want a nice smoke. I like chocolate. I would like a nice little aromatic note to the air, and then the taste a little bit. But yeah, I heard good things, dude. There's just so many blends I want to try. Even the blends that I know, Esoterica, I heard is like really, really good, and it's impossible to get, basically. Well, I don't even care about that stuff. I don't care about the other stuff that's available. Excuse me. That, I don't know. There's a few blends out there, but I'm enjoying taking the ride, trying all this different stuff that our friends in the YTPC, what they suggest and enjoy or don't like or whatever. Even the stuff that people don't like, I want to give it a shot. Because everything's different, dude. Like, that goes with beer. Like, some guy's worst beer in the world could be another guy's like holy grail of beers. You never know. You gotta give it a shot. It's all about preference. But when you see a majority of people saying one thing or the other, good or bad, you're like, oh, it's probably it's probably that what they're all saying. And I just stained my shelves. I'm putting for the jars. I can put, my wife's starting to complain to all my jars lining up on the desk, so we got shelves. We're gonna start, and I printed labels out for the tops of them. We're gonna be putting them in there and put them on the wall and such, so I can just like grab them out whenever I want. That's gotta be cool. Looking forward to that for sure. Well, yeah, and 7.5 alcohol by volume, ABV. I think 7 is my Goldilocks zone. Anything past that, it's a little too much, a little too boozy. And I do have a very high tolerance for alcohol, and that's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because I get to drink more at a sitting when I'm not driving or watching children or anything like that. But it's a curse on my wallet because everyone, go out, you can have a couple beers. Most people will be like fine with that. Like, oh no, man, like, I'm gonna have a few more than that. So I'm like 2 or 3 times more than other people. But I just enjoy the taste. What is that? That's a loud bird, isn't it? Jeez. Damn bird. There's a lot of, hopefully, I wish that was a pileated woodpecker. There's a bunch of them around here. And we have these big turkey vultures, too, that hang out right near the house. And there's probably like 30 of them. And sometimes when you drive down this road right here, they're all like, and there's no leaves on the tree, they're all like 30 of these big ass turkey vultures are just sitting there because there's a DMV like spot, like just right, I could see it from my house. And that's where they dump all the deer. Like they pick out all the dead roadkill and stuff and they throw them back there. And they're all just sitting there waiting for the next meal. But man, that's an ominous scene when you're driving down. And oh, it's a blue jay. Those damn blue jays. I don't know. It's mating season, so they're probably out looking for a date or something. But yeah, turkey vulture's big. We live right near an escarpment, and we have eagles out there. There's a bald eagle here and there. There's a nest up in a lake that's right near us. But there's other eagles too that are out there, and those are cool, man. When you see those big birds, man, they're all just flying over the escarpment, looking for prey. And oh yeah, we me and my boy are out there in the front yard throwing the ball around, and then right in the middle, I see my son go, oh, and the turkey vulture comes down. It had like something, I had a squirrel or something in its claws, and just flew right past us. And it flew up right against a tree across the street. It's pretty cool. So Tony, if you're still there, what's that 3 Ps? I hear a lot of good things about that. That's a perique, I believe, right? And I'm starting to pick up certain component flavors. The more blends I smoke. I heard that one's pretty good. I like perique. I really like vapors. By the way, I had an $80 lighter. It still works. I'm having a hard time making it light. Flint's fine. It's just like the gas isn't collecting enough for it to ignite the. Like for some reason, like the spark is like going like a different direction. It's not catching the gas that's coming out. So I had to switch to the Bic. I'm gonna try to fix that one, but man, you can't go wrong with a Bic lighter, man. Good stuff. Learn an interesting fact about shad trees, or shad bush, it's called. They're in bloom right now, and they have white. They're blooming white right now, and they obviously their flowers go off, and then there's just green leaves the rest of the year until the fall. They call it a shad bush because when that blooms, the shad are up the river, and I live right near the Hudson River, so the shad are coming right up, breeding, along with herring and along with striped bass. And striped bass are, I love eating them. And we go out there, we catch them sometime. But when the herring come up from the ocean, and then the bass chase the herring, those are fun to catch, man. I caught some nice big stripers before. I had to throw most of them back because they're all pregnant. But yeah, those are fun, and it's fun to catch the herring too. But when there's too much herring in there, you're not going to catch the bass because there's so much bait in the water. But that's when everyone goes down fishing. This time of year, going back to the shad bush, that when they bloom, that's when the shad are up, and I think that was pretty cool. All right, that's 3 P's from Tony. Plug, Burley, and Virginia. Oh, okay. I thought it was Perique for some reason. Nice and smooth with the Nick hit. All right, Nick hit. Tony says, oh man, yeah, I love fishing. Yeah, fishing's awesome. That's another thing I wish I did more of. I used to do a lot when I was younger. Shore fishing, never had we had a boat when we were, I don't know, I was 10 years old. My dad got a 12-foot aluminum. We went out on that a couple times. That was cool. I was thinking about going to college to be a fish hatchery technician, but that didn't work out. But that's something I think I would like to do. I wish if I did it again, I would definitely go into like fish hatchery or forestry or something like that, because I really like being out there. My one buddy in town is a chief for Department of Environmental Conservation, and he's a chief of invasive species and ecosystem health. And walking around the woods with him, it's just awesome because he just knows everything about every tree, and man, I'm really starting to like that. He's doing a project in town for a local conservation. There's conservation land, private, that holds youth and adult ed classes on nature, and it just has a bunch of courses and stuff about foraging and all sorts of stuff, bird watching, and he's building a sugar shack right in they found a sugar bush there with all the sugar maples up on a hill, and they're building this beautiful post and beam sugar shack, and he's got a sawmill, a portable sawmill, so he's cutting down all these pines and milling them up, making two spec. There's another gentleman that's the designer and the builder, and my buddy just makes whatever he wants for it to be constructed, and it's a beautiful process. And these post and beam, they're showing me the blueprints and stuff, and these been around for forever, and there's no there's just like little, there's no nails or anything like that. There's just like they make they little wood nails basically that they like fasten the other sills and planks and all that together with. They said for 300 years it'll last. And they're putting a tin roof on it, or a whatever metal roof on it. The only thing that would destroy it is another tree falling on it. Like if they're doing it correctly, that it's going to last for like 300 years. I think that's awesome, man. And it's just pine. They're just using like spruce and Scotch pine and all that other good stuff. Yeah, Tony, I mean, wouldn't that be cool if that was your job, to be a park ranger? And that's another job, like just trail maintenance and just taking care of a specific woodland. I would love that. Well, having the knowledge too, like I didn't really, when I was younger, like not even appreciate the knowledge on all these different trees and what they contribute towards the ecosystem. And I walked through, we're making a disc golf course, myself and a couple other guys, volunteers. We're making a disc golf course for our town park, and we had to go in the woods for a few holes, and we were taking down some these trees. And I was like, people get really weird when you take down these trees. But when I was taking down, I knew they were they're just big weeds basically. And we didn't take any significant trees down or anything. But we went through the woods for your disc. When you play disc golf, you don't want a straight, open field. You want your disc to navigate around objects and stuff. So anyway, taking it down, and I took all this out, and I found my buddy. He goes, you took out, it's called, it's an invasive species. What you took out was European buckthorn, honeysuckle, and multi-flower rose, which is pricker bushes. And that made me feel so much better. And if I knew that, I don't know, it's good. He's like, you guys made it, you guys didn't even make a dent in the health, positive or negative, of the ecosystem of the forest, because you needed to basically eradicate all this European buckthorn that just smothers the forest. And because the deer doesn't eat that when it's a sapling, or the honeysuckle, which is a big just brown bush. It's a weed, The deer don't eat that either, or the prick, or the multi-flower rose, the pricker bushes, and that's why it just keeps multiplying and growing, and then all of a sudden it smothers these beautiful, this pines, hardwoods, elm trees, and he's he was one of the guys that there's an ash borer beetle, that all the ash trees in our area will be out of here, dead, in 10 years. And there was plenty of ash trees in our town park. They're all dead. So that's a damn shame, man. And but yeah, knowledge is cool for sure. Tony, when you gonna have another live, man? I enjoy going on those. I know a bunch of people tune in to Tony 513's live, because he's a great guy and everyone likes to hang out with him. He did a couple lives about for a month, right? Right, pretty often, and then I'm sure work and life gets in the way. Well, this is fun. I like doing the lives because I don't have to edit or load anything. You know what I mean? Kind of lazy, so I call them lazy lives. But I like interacting in real time with people that I watch, like Tony and whoever else would want to comment, and it's just a good time, man. It's just like dropping in. I don't know, man. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, Tony. Pneumonia. I had that on my wedding day. But I hope your dad's feeling better, man. That's no joke. Excuse me. But yeah, I definitely I enjoy your lives for sure. Hey Tony, if you, what's your favorite beer? Like, what's your favorite style of beer? Do you have a particular taste, or do you like light lagers like Bud Light, Coors Light, stuff like that, or do you like a little more robust stuff, stouts or ales? Always interested in other people's preferences and beers. Because I was really in the obviously I know a lot about craft beer, and I really was really into it at one time, but I find myself buying more Coors Light, especially in the summertime, right? Like, just drinking beer, man. Beer in general is just great. It's a good drink. Warhorse Green. It's middle of the road, man. Middle of the road, mellow, smooth, no bite. Um, excuse me. I'm sure. I'm sure this is very young too, because they don't have a date or anything on here, at least I could see. But they sold out. And they recently just restocked smokingpipes.com. So I just want to know. I'm sure like some age too would do this some good. All right, Tony says his favorite beers. Lagers are pretty good. Budweiser been a go-to during grill outs. Yep, Budweiser, good one. Um, I like Labatt's too in that category of light lagers and stuff. I think Labatt's is a everyone's like, oh, you get Labatt's anywhere. It's cool. It's whatever. But I think that's a really good go-to. Labatt's. But they have like 11. They have like something about their canning and their bottling. There's like they do. It's something like every case they make. It's not 12 ounces. It's something else. I think it's 11 whatever. And every case they save a beer's worth of volume that domestic beers would have. Like if you buy a case of like Budweiser 12-ounce cans, you buy a case of Labatt's, it's like 11 point something. You're basically buying 23 beers of domestic. Tony, the Warhorse Green is dark fire Kentucky and air cured matured red Virginia with it's like a topping of it's a unique topping. It's similar to anise or licorice, and don't let that. It's very super mild, but it's not even probably. It's along those lines. It's not anise and licorice. It's very unique. It's very the tin note is way more powerful than what you're smoking, but you're still getting those notes of that anise, some sort of a licorice And the tobacco is the star. It's just a different one, man. It's a good one to have in the rotation. I think just to break up, if you're like want to try, try something new, just boom, get this guy in here. It's not mind blowing, but it's nice. It's nice. It's nice and smooth. Middle of the bowl is very nice. Top half of the bowl, it's just whatever. It's just mild smoke. Middle, the Virginias come through a little bit more, and I think I really like. I say that a lot in the middle of the bowl because with blends with Virginias in it, because I think they shine the best. During that portion of the bowl, like from here down to there and the bottom, they kind of go away a little bit, but it's very very pleasant. That's for sure. And I got the idea of getting this from you guys are probably subscribed to him too, Chris Morley, Bingham Briar. I don't know, like for some reason I've been getting, whatever he's been liking, I've been like, oh, I'll give that a try, and he's been right on with my taste, or my he suggested this one. He suggested the McBaron vanilla roll cake, and that was really good. So I'm like, yeah, if Chris likes it, I'll give it a shot. This one, I'm like, the jury's still out. Like, I still got to do. This is my first impression on it, so we're finding like sometimes I'll be coming home from work, or like, what, a bowl of X would do perfect right now. So this one might really come in the rotation. Whatever, it's worth a shot, man. It's not bad at all. So what? It's a plus. It's a gain. Yeah, I think it was like $12 or so for a tin. It's a 1.75 ounce, not a 2 ounce. Tony says, "Yeah, man, those Virginias really are nice with age." Yeah, and I hope I have the discipline to age all. I have several blends I'm like putting away. I have 2 tins of Escudo that are from 2012. So I'm going to open up one of those when my son turns 10, because that was the year my son was born. I love Escudo. So I can't wait to open up one of those. I like Vapors in general. Bayou Morning is really good. I have a tin. I don't have these big sellers either, because I don't know. I don't like buying multiple tins unless I know I like them. Like the Key Largo. I bought a Key Largo again. I bought HH Burley Flakes. I have a few tins of that because I like that, and now I like the HH Pure Virginia. I'm gonna be buying more of that just to tuck away. And there's another one. Scudo is always going to be there. The Scudo tins, Tony. I might do a GAW too and give one of those away, because I felt bad. The 16th day, really really great guy, messaged me and said, hey, you want to trade some tobacco? I said, yeah, that'd be cool. And then I realized I don't have much to give, because they're either open in jars. I got 13 or 14 jars open, and then I have I don't know, probably 8 or so tins and they're not anything spectacular. They're pretty young. Those two tins, the Escudo from 2012, are my they're probably like my most valued tobacco, and I don't have much to trade with the 16 day. So I like to, if we're trading things, I would like it to be even, or just I don't care what I get out of the trade. I don't care as long as I'm getting something, or even if I just gave it away, I don't care. As long as when I'm giving to the other person, I want it to be nice, you know what I mean, and generous. So I don't have much to give, unfortunately. But I was thinking about doing a gaw on one of those tins of the Scudo. And I know it's not a huge gaw, but like it's what I can acquire at this time. Like here, like I got tins like the Key Largo I just picked up. It's what is that? Yeah, it's a March 4th, 2021. So anyone can grab that. So that's. I have a lot of 2020 tins. I got a few 2018. I got a 2018 HH Pure Virginia. But yeah, it's nothing spectacular. See all these guys, they're so generous in the YTPC, giving away all these pipes and all these great tins of tobacco. You get your choice between this and that. I'm like, jeez, I could never live up to that. But I think if I do a gaw, I don't know, maybe I'll do like 150 subscriber or something like that. I'll do that just to give back, because everybody's so generous. I appreciate all the subs too. I appreciate you, Tony, for commenting and interacting with me too. Like, it's really it's fun. I see another person is watching too. I don't know if they're out there, if they want to comment or not, but it's great. And thank you really for interacting, because I like having a conversation. I'm just hanging out, drinking beer, and Tony, if you got to go and do something, man, don't feel bad like if you're leaving me, because you're like one of the two people that are in here. But I'm just gonna be hanging out here. I still got like half a bowl left. I might grab another beer. Hope you guys are joining me for a beer right now and a smoke. This is fun. Yeah. I don't get much of the Kentucky out of this. I think that gives it a backbone, though. Gives it like a nice solid backbone. That the topping is assisting. Very pleasant. Jeez, I gotta spit all the time when I smoke pipes, man. I don't know if that's a problem with anybody else. But yeah, tomorrow we're doing volunteer day. I'm a project leader over there at the disc golf course, and we got the course cut in all 18 holes. Now we got to do some fine tuning, just moving limbs and sticks and brushing and all that stuff into certain areas of the park where the park can come and wood chip it up and make the course look nice. If any of you guys haven't tried disc golf, frisbee golf, whatever you want to call it, highly suggest you do it, because it's like ball golf, right? Like the regular golf, but 98, or is it 90? It's high 90s. That's not a bird. That's a train that goes through town. 98 or something % of the courses are free to play whenever you want. The discs that you throw, they're not frisbees. They're regulation discs. They range from $8 to like $15 a piece. And you just, you lose one once in a while, but like, you just carry that around in your trunk of your car and you play this beautiful game that you can develop, and you can play. It's called a lifetime sport because like any age can play it. And with our course that we designed, we made sure, like we're going through the fundraising stage now because we bought the targets, the baskets where you have to throw in the disc, and now we're kind of unique because we're trying to fund 36 tees. There's 18 holes. We're going to do 36 tees. There's going to be a blue tee loop, which is like a, avid player to advanced player difficulty. But what we really want to just, along with those tees, get the white loop, which is youth, beginners, women, and seniors tees. Because usually the advanced tees get what is it? The funding first, and you get the tee pads, which are almost 36 tee pads is almost expensive as the top of the line baskets that we bought. The targets, and that's a lot of work. So it's like making 36 little driveways. You know what I mean? With rebar, crusher stone, pavers, pressure treated wood, sand, all that stuff. Excuse me. That bird needs an exorcism. Yeah, Tony. But the Blue Jay moved on. Now it's this train that goes through the town. We probably get like a dozen trains a day. You get used to it when you live here. But yeah, it's I live in a great place, great little village, perfect size to build clubs, and starting to get some of the guys around here smoking pipes. Some of them, very few, I'll say. I got my one buddy picked it up after he smoked a bowl of plum pudding, and he was smoking backwoods cigars a lot, and he had to stop because those backwoods, man, whatever that chemical's on it, like rotted his teeth in the back or something. Because he smokes a lot of weed. All right, this guy smokes a lot of weed, and he used to smoke cigarettes. But then he started smoking backwoods, but he was inhaling the backwoods, and he just kept ripping them like cigarettes, and I'm like, phew. And lost some teeth. So he wanted to get some. He wanted to like way back here where the smoke was getting it. And he wanted, he enjoys smoking tobacco, and I was smoking a bowl of plum pudding. Really like the smell of that. So now he's got a bunch of pipes. He started buying a bunch of tobacco, and there's a turkey vulture. Yeah, he's into it now. He's got a whole shitload of tobacco that I haven't been over at his house or anything to see, but mostly aromatics. I like aromatics. I like traditional blends more. English vapors. I like the Burleys, Virginias. If that turkey vulture flies over again, I'm gonna point that camera up so you guys can see it. Things are freaking huge, man. They fly pretty low. But I don't know if you guys want to hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna grab another beer. Just 1 second. I'll be right back. thank you for sticking around. Thank you for sticking around, everybody. So here's another beer. From Mixed Breed, okay? This is their brown ale. It's called the Beanie Brown Ale. I like brown ales too because of there's not a lot of hops in them. Although I really like hops, but like it's a nice multi-flavored ale, and the grain is the star. So IPAs, like, you know, they show off the hop attributes. These are this shows off the grain. I like toasted grains, and this is a brown ale usually has that, like stouts and all that. So yeah, not much on the nose. Different style of hops, more earthy instead of the citrusy like in the IPA. Brown, right? Nice, clean, perfect bitterness. They could have done just a critique. It's great beer. To critique a little bit, I would like a little more fullness, a little more toastiness from the grains. But man, you can't go wrong with the brown ale. They did a good job. These guys are good. And they learn from just all of other home brewers, you know what I mean? It's experimenting, hanging out. Best part about it, you make a beer. If it's good, you're going to drink it. If it's bad, you still got to drink it. So you'll learn that way too. So starting to grow on me a little bit. Starting to grow. It's interesting. It's like one of the more interesting blends. It's different. I'm still green, right? Like all the blends I haven't tried yet or anything. But I get that smoker going tomorrow probably. Smoke some chicken. Tony, if you're still there, I know you're a barbecue guy just like me. Do you prefer a certain wood for smoking chicken? Because I think hickory is good for. I know, like you're supposed to use like a pecan or something, like something more like subtle and soft or less bitter smoke. But I think hickory covers all of the different types of meats and all that. I'm wondering if you're more prone to smoking chicken with hickory, or is there a different type of I haven't smoked fish yet. But what's the wood that you like is most versatile? I think it's hickory. I don't know why someone would complain about the hickory smoke. Like, oh, this is not pecan, or it's not what is it in there? There's tons of stuff. Pecan, there's no maple wood. I don't know. Mesquite. That's a bitter smoke. Right, Tony? Yeah, hickory, right? We use apple. I like apple wood because pork. That is something that goes very well with pork is apple wood. And a funny story about applewood. There was a golf course. My dad was a produce buyer, and he did deals with for a local grocery store chain He had deals with local farmers with apples because our region of New York up here is very popular for apple orchards. We grow great apples. Um, and they, an apple orchard, uh, bought or wanted to get into or made a course, a golf course. Davis Love the Third. If you guys don't know who he was, he was a popular golfer back in the late '80s and '90s. Um, he designed a course at this local apple piece of land that was an apple orchard. So they cut down a bunch of these apple trees, and there's apple trees still in the course. It's great in the fall to play in the fall because it's a working apple orchard, but golf course they still have all these apple trees in it. And they took down a bunch of these apple trees, and my dad was like doing business with them, buying apples. And he's like, hey, because we had a fireplace down in the basement, and my dad's like, hey, if you got the firewood there, or the guy doing business with him, he's like, I need apples. He goes, hey, Jack, that's my father's name, Jack. He goes, you need anybody that has firewood or anything? He goes, well, I have a stove down in my basement that we use to, during the winter months, just to give an extra heat to the house. And it's just nice to have the basement. We had a finished basement, and it's just nice to have an extra heat down there, And they're like, all right, well, we got all this apple wood. He goes, would you like some for firewood? He goes, yeah, sure, just drop it off at the house. And and all of a sudden he gets home from work, and there's they just dumped it in our front yard, and we lived in a suburban neighborhood. It covered the whole front yard. It was logs. It was just 12-inch, 14-inch logs. And my dad's like, holy shit. And I spent that summer just splitting wood with my dad, and we brung it back. And anyway, it was all apple trees, so it was all apple wood. And every time we had a fire going downstairs, my dad was just downstairs, on the weekends, just drinking beers, watching, whatever. It was great. It was a really nice stove that we had down there, and a fireplace, and cast iron. There was no window on or anything. It was just to heat the downstairs, and that apple wood smelled so nice. Because and looking back on it, I was like, damn, that would have been really nice for smoking meats all the time. But we use it just to burn the heat. And every time I smell apple wood, I'm like, it reminds me of that, those fucking 4 or 5 years we had all that wood, just burning it down in the basement. That was funny. Just come home and all your front yard is just a pile of apple wood logs. Tony says, man, yeah, applewood bacon, good stuff. Yeah, applewood bacon is good stuff. Remember, I had an apartment, and I used to work for a food service company, and they had employee sales, and we had this little kitchen. They call it, I don't like the word, it's called a nook, and we just it was me and my other buddy. It was a 2-room apartment, and we were early 20s, so we had a bar in our kitchen nook area, and we also had a George Foreman grill, and we used to sit up there and just drink, and at the employee sale, they'd sell us stuff that had damaged cases and stuff like that, but we bought a case of 30 pounds of applewood smoked bacon, and we had a George Foreman on the bar, and so we'd all be sitting around drinking and had the George Foreman going, and how bars have peanuts on it and stuff that you could eat and such, and we just had the Foreman grill going all the time with just bacon, just yep, this batch is done. Throw it on a plate in front of everybody and just gnawing on applewood smoked bacon and drinking beers and whatever. Good times. That'd be a great sell for a bar, though, is to go in there, instead of peanuts, have bacon up there. But my plan is, if I had a bar or a pub, I would put, I know it's expensive, but pistachios up there. Give a complimentary cup of pistachios, right? Your hands are busy, they taste great, and they're salty. So you're gonna want to, and say in any other like cup after that, you would say, I don't know, like, you know, whatever the price you put on it, like $4, you get another like decent, really big bowl of pistachios. Because those are so much fun to eat, and you know, it keeps the guy at the bar just fiddling with his hands. He's doing something. He's eating salty, great, like a great food. It's making them more thirsty. Sell more beer. Gets them in the mood for like buying something else. I don't know. I think that'd be worth it. That'd be my plan. Ah, yeah. Yeah, Tony, that was good times, dude. And Tony, I don't know if you saw me show it. Well, the Warhorse is a plug. It's a plug, but it's very dense. But it is a crumble cake too. So it's a really hard plug, but you can just rip. You saw where I ripped them off. Like this was one big plug. I just ripped it right off, and here's it. Here's the other half that's like not. Like you just tear it off, and it's really easy to work with. You don't need a knife. Like some plugs, you need a knife to jack up a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna give it. You know, I like Warhorse Green. I do. I'm gonna smoke a couple more. You know, I'll probably do a more refined review, and you know, the coming weeks or whatever. But it's nice, man. First impressions. I'm also interested in the GLP's Piccadilly, and that's several shades of Virginia, Cyprian, Latakia, and Perique. It's up my alley. Hopefully that's going to be good. Can't go wrong with GLPs, right? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, are you talking, the Warhorse is a 1.75 ounce, Tony. Not a 2, 1.75. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to all of these, really, but like this one, I got I'm opening up, I got a tin of Bengal slices, black, right? There's a black and a white. I heard good things about that. I'm gonna open up when I go camping up. My buddy holds every year, the week after Mother's Day, he's up there at his cabin, and there's just no power or nothing. But like you don't get invited. They call it man camp. You don't get invited to man camp. You just show up, and there's like, you know, there's just no decorum anywhere. You just go, show up. Like if you hear about it, like, you know, if you're invited or not, if you're like friends with, but there's usually like, you know, 20 dudes that show up like periodically throughout the week, and you're just up there and you just sit, drink, smoke, and eat. And, you know, you do some hiking once in a while. You can go down to there's a brewery near there's a town, whatever. It's just a spot for dudes just to go up and just fucking hang out and just whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Card games, poker, you know, all sorts of shit. Awesome time. So and there was a guy that I just started smoking a pipe last year regularly, and I brought my pipes and all my tobacco up there. Started talking to this guy up there, and I was like interested in it, and I'm like, yeah. And then he started texting me. He goes, hey, what should I get? This, that, and I did some suggestions what I could. And now I guess he's into it, and now he's gonna be up there, and I'm gonna break in this tin. Maybe I'll do a video on it. We're gonna break a tin of this Bengal slices and do a first impressions. maybe introduce him to the YTPC along the way. But yeah, I'm bringing the Warhorse Green up. That's another thing. I don't know what blends I'm going to bring up. It's fun. It's fun. This is a fun hobby. I'm discovering it just like I discovered craft beer. What goes into a great grain bill, hop schedule for a beer, and yeast for a beer. The same I can compare it to the components into a tobacco blend. So this is very similar to craft beer, I would argue, especially for home brewers. I think home brewers would really like to get into pipe smoking because of those reasons. You know. Oh, and Tony, this past Christmas Eve we smoked, the two past Christmas Eve, we smoked a 15-pound prime rib on my smoker. Whew, delicious, man. Delicious. Tony asks, you ever do home brewing? Tony, I've done a lot of home brewing, and it was my passion about, I would say, 8 years ago. For about 5 years I was really into it. And I learned a lot about brewing beer. Excuse me. And I learned a lot about beer itself during that process. Tony, have you thought about brewing beer? Or do you ever brew beer? Because it is a fantastic hobby to get into. And, the initial startup for equipment might be a little pricey. You're going over probably like $100 or so, $120. But once you go all grain, there's two types of home brewing. There's extract brewing, which means you surpass a step in the brewing process by buying pre-made malt extract. Here's the process. Here you go. This is a little bit of a crash course. Here's the process of brewing beer. First, you steep the grains, right? That converts the starches of the grains to sugars. That's what gives you the color, the texture of the beer, and the malt attributes. You steep the grains, then you boil it, right? And that's when you add the hops and stuff. Then you cool it down, then you add the yeast, which eats the sugar, and then after that ferments, you have beer. When beginners, I really suggest doing extract brewing, and what that is skipping the step of steeping your grains and creating a design of a beer that involves choosing what base grain you have, and different grains that give you different types of flavors. It's either in powder form or in liquid form, and you just do that, and then you just boil that, and then you have carte blanche to add your hops however you want them during the boil. And during the boil, whenever you add certain hops that have different characteristics, bittering characteristics or flavor characteristics, you can control that part of it, and then you let it cool, pitch the yeast, and then let it ferment. But with all grain brewing is that you design the beer, or you can not even design it. There's already pre-made kits that have grain, like the actual grain of the beer. That the process of steeping the grain is called mashing, and when you do that, you have to steep whatever you want. There's a temperature range depending how dry or sweet you want your beer to be, and there's different texture, like temperature zones that you want to keep the grain at, and you get into the weeds, right? It's just a more advanced type of brewing, but that's what makes you a better brewer, and it makes you appreciate when you drink other people's beer and other beers in general that you like. You can start to tell how they went about it, what grains typically, like what grains they use. You know what I mean? You can get a ballpark range of how they did it, what temperature they mashed at, and depending on how sweet or dry the beer is. If you go too hot, it gets a little tanniny, like tannins. Like if you ever chew on a grape stem, you get that like grittiness on your tongue and stuff. If you go too hot, that's what happens to grain. You don't want that. There's a certain range between 140 and 160. And if you go too low, there's not enough backbone to the beer. You know what I mean? And the higher you steep your grains, the larger the starches convert to sugar. The larger the granules are of the grain. So the yeast are small, and you have a lot of residual sugar that's left over that the yeast couldn't eat because it was too large. That's when you get sweetness. And then when you mash in the lower end of the 140, like close to 140, the sugars are smaller, so the yeast eat most of that, which produces more alcohol, but you're left with no sugar, less sugar, so it tastes drier. So it's like that. It's like there's a lot of nuances to it, but you learn as you go. And you know what? Again, if you have a great beer, great. You're gonna sit there, drink it. Oh, I like what I did with this. I like what I did with that. If it was bad, you got to drink it. That's like the code of homebrewers. Drink it, and then you'll realize what your mistake was, and you won't make it again. So, and it comes with research, but nowadays, YouTube, everything, it's pretty easy to get into. And then there's hops. When you boil hops, there's usually a 60 to 90 minute boil to your recipe, and the earlier you introduce the hops to the boil process, you're going to feel it back here in the tongue. You're going to taste more bitterness, less attributes of flavor, and towards the end of the boil process or after, you're going to get it more of the nose. So it starts here at the beginning of the boil, and then the taste goes right up here towards the end. So, the more you smell a hop or something, means that they added in the hops later in that process or after the boil. So it's pretty interesting stuff. But don't let that, that's a lot of knowledge that you accumulate over years of doing it because you're interested in the hobby and stuff. Don't let it be too complicated either. There's a balance that you have to have. And every hop, just like every component to a blend, Virginia's, Burley's, Latakia, Turkish, all that stuff, has different taste profiles and it's the same thing, you know what I mean? It's the same thing with hops. They have different nose characteristics, different taste characteristics, and you just play with them. It's just making a recipe, man. Like you're making a nice dry rub for like a brisket or something, or barbecue. So that's my spiel, my condensed spiel on homebrewing. Get into the end of the bowl. I don't know what my Peterson 05 stem is made out of, but it's oxidizing. I use obsidian oil to polish the stems, and it's not really bringing it back. And this pipe's less than a year old. Wondering if anybody has any tips for me. I know I asked this before. I believe Smoking Cardboard mentioned something. I want some polish I should get, and I want to polish my pipes. I mean, this is fine. This is a sandblasted. It's a vulcanite. Okay. And acrylic's better, right, Tony? For like keeping them nice and shiny and stuff. I thought vulcanite would be better, but I think it's... Is there a vulcanite stem polisher or method sanding or something that we could I could use? I don't know. Well, this pipe was enjoyable, man. That's going to stay in the rotation. I think the Warhorse green is here to stay. Sure. But there's going to be a certain place for it, though. Would I call it an all day? Nah, I don't know if it'll be an all day smoke. Maybe. I don't smoke pipes all day. That's the thing. Weekends, probably like 4 times during the week, weeknights. I'll smoke 2 bowls during the week, each day during the weekend. Well, yeah. Hope everybody's going to enjoy their weekend. Tony says, yeah, acrylic never oxidized. I believe it's smoking pipes. They have a solution they carry that will bring the stem back. Okay. Thank you, Tony. I'll have to, because I might not buy a pipe that has a vulcanite stem. Because I like that shininess, and it's just already oxidizing. And I smoke it probably like once a week, once or 3 times a month or so, this pipe. I got my eye on this other poker. It's a smooth with a tan stain, nice grain poker that could sit, and it's got a nice like white stem on it. Oh man, it's $150 though. My birthday's coming up though. I could justify it with the wife. Man, it's good stuff. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this up. Tony, thank you so much for watching and commenting, and everybody else that watched, thank you so much. I enjoy these lives. I rarely have time to set up the camera and all that stuff to do it, but very much enjoy your interaction. And Tony, I look forward to more of your lives. Hopefully you get up, do some more, or even some of your videos, man. Love them. It's Tony513. And for the other people that are watching too, thank you so much. And whoever tunes in later to watch it, thank you. If you stood with me for an hour and a half, awesome. I'm glad that you stuck with it. Let's see, what does Tony say? Variable oxidation pipe stem cleaner. That's what it's called. Awesome, Tony. Thank you so much. Tony, you have a great weekend too, and everybody else that's watching or will watch, have a great weekend. I gotta start prepping up for dinner, so it's a good Saturday. Enjoy it, and catch you later. Thank you. Have a good one.